two-time NFL MVP, record-breaking quarterback, game changer. Yet somehow, one of the most polarizing figures in football today. Lamar Jackson has reached the pinnacle of professional football not once, but twice, winning the league's most prestigious individual award in both 2019 and 2023.
To this year's most valuable player, Lamar Jackson.
Apart from all that, his career is filled with controversies, criticisms, and questions that have led some fans and analysts to turn against the Baltimore Ravens quarterback.
We know he's a great athlete. The questions are, is he a great quarterback? Or has he evolved, or has he begun the process of evolution as from a college quarterback to a pro quarterback?
See, I think Lamar Jackson is a superstar. But there are 9 people in NFL history who've won multiple MVPs. He is the only one who has never won a Super Bowl. I think we have to pay attention to that. I think we have to pay attention that in 5 of the career 6 playoff games he's played, he has scored less than 20 points. I think his 16 points per game in the postseason being the lowest for any quarterback named NFL MVP in the Super Bowl era is something we can't ignore.
So what's behind this wave of negativity? Is it justified, or is there something deeper at play? Today we're diving into the reasons behind the question, why does everyone hate Lamar Jackson? Before we understand the hate, we need to understand the player.
The quarterback for setting the record, Lamar Jackson. Congratulations.
Born January 7, 1997 in Pompano Beach, Florida, Lamar Demetrius Jackson Jr. emerged as a football phenomenon at the University of Louisville, where his dual-threat capabilities revolutionized the quarterback position. In 2016, he won the Heisman Trophy, becoming the first player from a non-Power 5 conference to do so.
The winner is Lamar Jackson of the University of Louisville.
His college stats were mind-boggling. He threw for over 9,000 yards, rushed for more than 4,000, and accounted for 119 total touchdowns. But despite this incredible resume, Jackson faced an uphill battle entering the NFL. On draft night 2018,
Cleveland Browns select Baker Mayfield. Wow. The New York Jets select Sam Darnold. The Buffalo Bills select Josh Allen. The Arizona Cardinals select Josh Rosen. We're the 32nd pick in the 2018 NFL Draft. The Baltimore Ravens select Lamar Jackson. Wow.
Jackson waited and waited and waited. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, and Josh Rosen all heard their names called before him. Finally, with the 32nd and final pick of the first round, the Baltimore Ravens selected Lamar Jackson. What many don't remember is that the Ravens weren't even supposed to have that pick. They traded back into the first round to get him, a move that would change their franchise forever. By midway through his rookie season, Jackson took over as the starter and led the Ravens to a division title. At just 21 years old, he became the youngest quarterback to start a playoff game. Then came 2019, the season that changed everything. Jackson led the NFL with 36 touchdown passes while rushing for 1,206 yards, breaking Michael Vick's single-season quarterback rushing record. The Ravens won 14 games, and Jackson was unanimously voted NFL MVP. 4 years later, he would win his second MVP award after another stellar season, solidifying his place among the all-time greats. So with all this success, why the hate?
Lamar Jackson looking end zone again. Sneed's got it.
November 27, 2022. The Ravens had just lost a tight game to the Jacksonville Jaguars, 28-27. Like many NFL games, the loss prompted fan reactions online. One particular fan suggested the Ravens should let Jackson walk in free agency rather than pay him over $250 million guaranteed. Jackson's response ignited a firestorm. He replied this. The tweet was quickly deleted, but not before it spread widely across social media. ESPN reporter Jamison Hensley interpreted the message as containing an anti-gay phrase, drawing widespread condemnation. Jackson disputed this characterization on X, saying, "This is defamation of my character, because not once have I mentioned or disrespect anyone's sexuality, sexual orientation, gender, religion, or race. You're reaching." In a subsequent press conference, Jackson apologized, stating this. This incident highlighted the intense scrutiny professional athletes face in the social media age. One poorly thought-out tweet sent in the emotional aftermath of a tough loss became national news and added fuel to critics who already questioned Jackson's maturity and professionalism. For many fans, this incident permanently altered their perception of Jackson. But was this isolated outburst really representative of who Lamar Jackson is? Or was it simply a human moment from an athlete athlete pushed to the breaking point? Winning the NFL MVP award once is an extraordinary achievement. Winning it twice puts a player in elite company. But for Lamar Jackson, even these crowning achievements have become sources of controversy. In 2019, Jackson's first MVP season, he led the league with those 36 touchdown passes and rewrote the record books with 1,206 rushing yards. He was named the MVP unanimously. All 50 voters selected him. But not everyone agreed with this clean sweep. Some argued that Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes were more deserving due to their team's success. Brady led the Patriots to a 12-4 record that season, while Mahomes would go on to win the Super Bowl. Critics pointed to Jackson's playoff performance, a disappointing loss to the Tennessee Titans where he threw 2 interceptions, as evidence that perhaps he wasn't truly the league's most valuable player. The debate intensified in 2023 when Jackson won his second MVP award. Jackson finished the season with 4,172 passing yards, 41 touchdown passes, and 895 rushing yards. Impressive numbers by any standard. His passer rating of 119.6 was the 4th best in NFL history. But critics pointed to Josh Allen's 4,305 passing yards and 35 touchdowns, suggesting the Buffalo Bills quarterback was more deserving, especially given the supporting cast around each player. These debates might seem like standard sports talk show fare, but they've contributed to a narrative that Jackson receives preferential treatment or undue praise, a narrative that has fueled dislike among certain fans and analysts. The truth, as always, is more complex. Jackson's unique skill set and revolutionary playing style make traditional quarterback comparisons difficult. He has transformed the position and the way teams approach offense, making his value almost impossible to quantify through traditional statistics alone.
What's the numbers?
The hometown kid today. Perfect quarterback rate.
Few issues have fueled the anti-Jackson sentiment more than his contract negotiations with the Ravens. In 2022, as his rookie contract was nearing its end, Jackson and the Ravens engaged in prolonged negotiations for an extension. Unlike most high-profile players, Jackson chose to represent himself without an agent, a decision that drew both praise for his independence and criticism for its practicality. When negotiations stalled, the Ravens placed a non-exclusive franchise tag on Jackson in March 2023. This meant other teams could negotiate with him, but the Ravens had the right to match any offer or receive 2 first-round picks as compensation. What happened next surprised everyone. No team made Jackson an offer, not one. This unprecedented situation led to speculation of collusion among NFL owners who may have been hesitant to set a precedent for fully guaranteed contracts similar to the $230 million deal Deshaun Watson had received from the Cleveland Browns. NFLPA Executive Director DeMaurice Smith criticized the franchise tag, saying, "The NFLPA has long believed that the franchise tag depresses the market for players and restricts their ability to negotiate freely." Eventually, in April 2023, Jackson signed a 5-year, $260 million deal with the Ravens, including $185 million guaranteed. It temporarily made him the highest-paid player in NFL history, but the damage to his reputation was done. The prolonged negotiations and Jackson's perceived financial demands frustrated many fans and analysts who viewed him as greedy or unrealistic. Others saw the lack of interest from other teams as vindication for those who questioned his abilities as a pure passer. What most fail to recognize is the complex business reality NFL players face. Careers are short, injuries are common, and players have limited opportunities to secure their financial futures. For Jackson, maximizing his value wasn't about greed, it was about business. Perhaps no aspect of the Lamar Jackson story has more uncomfortable undertones than his draft experience. Despite winning the Heisman Trophy and putting up spectacular numbers at Louisville, Jackson faced persistent skepticism from NFL scouts and executives. One anonymous scout told the MMQB, "He's not a quarterback. He's a running back. He's a really good running back who can throw it a little bit." Another said, "I don't see him as a franchise quarterback." Some even suggested he switch positions, advice rarely given to white quarterback prospects with similar credentials.
What's your reaction been to people who have suggested that you should try to change your position and play receiver?
I'm not going to their team. If anything, whoever like me at quarterback, that's where I'm going. That's strictly my position.
Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, and Josh Rosen were all selected before Jackson. While each had their supporters, none had achieved what Jackson had in college. This undervaluation of black quarterbacks has historical precedent in the NFL. From Warren Moon being forced to prove himself in Canada before getting an NFL shot, to Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes being selected after Mitchell Trubisky in 2017, the pattern is difficult to ignore. The perceived racial bias didn't end with the draft. Throughout his career, Jackson has faced criticisms that seem to rely on stereotypes rather than analysis, that he's an athletic quarterback rather than a cerebral one, that he's a runner who can sometimes throw rather than a complete quarterback. These narratives persist despite evidence to the contrary. Jackson's passing statistics and decision-making have improved year after year, yet the criticisms remain largely unchanged. As discussed in articles like, "Is the criticism of QB Lamar Jackson rooted in racism?" These perceptions continue to fuel debates among fans and analysts alike. While it's impossible to know the intentions behind every criticism, the pattern of black quarterbacks facing additional scrutiny is well documented, and Jackson's experience fits squarely within this troubling tradition. Perhaps the most telling moment in understanding the complex relationship between Lamar Jackson and football fans, despite his regular season brilliance. One of the most revealing aspects of the Lamar Jackson story is often overlooked: the complete lack of interest from other NFL teams during his contract negotiation. Think about it. A 26-year-old, two-time MVP quarterback was essentially available on the open market. In a league desperate for franchise quarterbacks, not a single team made him an offer. This unprecedented situation suggests something beyond normal business considerations was at play. Whether it was collusion among owners to avoid setting a precedent for fully guaranteed contracts, concerns about Jackson's durability, or more troubling biases about his playing style, the silence spoke volumes. For a player of Jackson's caliber, this lack of interest is almost unfathomable. It's the equivalent of NBA teams ignoring LeBron James in free agency, or MLB teams passing on a young Mike Trout. This detail isn't just surprising, it's potentially revealing about the NFL's power structure and the way certain players are valued within the league's ecosystem. Before concluding, it's important to look beyond the controversies and consider the complete picture of Lamar Jackson. Despite the criticism and scrutiny, Jackson has maintained a relatively low profile off the field. Unlike many of his contemporaries, he isn't frequently seen in commercials, doesn't host a podcast, and generally avoids the celebrity aspects of being an NFL star. He's been involved in numerous charitable activities, particularly in his hometown of Pompano Beach and in Baltimore, though he rarely publicizes these efforts. Teammates consistently describe him as hardworking, humble, and team-focused. Ravens head coach John Harbaugh has repeatedly praised Jackson's character and leadership. So why does the negative narrative persist? Perhaps it's because Jackson defies easy categorization. He doesn't fit the traditional mold of an NFL quarterback, either in playing style or personality. He's not particularly media-friendly, doesn't seek the spotlight, and seems content to let his play speak for itself. In an era of carefully crafted public personas and social media presence, Jackson's authenticity, for better or worse, stands out. So, does everyone hate Lamar Jackson? Of course not, but the controversies we've examined, from the ex-post incident to MVP debates, contract drama, perceived biases, and fan reactions, have contributed to a complex public perception that's far more negative than his on-field achievements would suggest. Jackson's career statistics tell the story of a generational talent: over 20,000 passing yards, 166 touchdowns, and counting. He's revolutionized the quarterback position and forced defenses to rethink their entire approach to the game. Yet the challenges he's faced reflect broader issues within football culture and society at large, about race, about what a quarterback should look and play like, about how athletes should conduct themselves on social media, and about their value in a billion-dollar industry. Perhaps in time, these controversies will fade, and Jackson will be appreciated simply for what he is, one of the most electrifying and talented players to ever step on a football field. In the meantime, the debate continues, and with it, the polarizing legacy of Lamar Jackson. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please subscribe and hit the like button. Share your thoughts on the comments too.